Today we are answering the question that has been asked for thousands of years. Should you just keep upgrading your PC to get the most out of the hardware, or do you just bite the bullet and buy one of those sexy pre-built systems? I know, some of you have already made up your minds, and based on the folks who watch this channel, I think I know which category you fall into. But sometimes the choice isn't always that simple. Sometimes that sexy pre-built system is just as beautiful on the inside as it is on the outside. Sometimes. Let's talk about it. All right, when I say upgrade an old system, I'm obviously not talking about your gateway running Windows 95. The goal is to see if we can breathe some life into your relatively modern desktop system, and we'll be approaching it from this perspective of, I want a PC that can do it all. So we're going to take a look at some upgrade parts, then we're going to see if we can find a pre-built system that beats it from a price to performance to features perspective, because obviously if we go out and buy the most expensive PC at Micro Center, it's going to be better. Oh yeah, Micro Center is sponsoring this video, so let's hop in the car and head down there.
All right, there's obviously no shortage of places where you can buy computer parts, but I'm here at Micro Center today for a few reasons. One is because I actually like getting my hands on what I'm about to buy before I actually buy it. Two is because they have an awesome deal going on right now for computer parts. And three is because, well, they're the sponsor, okay? Shut up, you guys like Micro Center, so let's go inside and check it out. All right, so let's start with pre-builts. Now, there are like 4 aisles here with tons of pre-builts and everything from mini PCs to office PCs up to insane $5,000 gaming PCs and everything in between, starting with what I think is the best budget system. We have a PowerSpec G239 gaming PC, whatever, who cares. So specs on this thing, you have an Intel i5-14400F. F meaning that you do not get integrated graphics, so you don't get quick sync on this system. But obviously it comes with a GPU, because that would be silly. And in this one, you have the RTX 5060, which middle tier, just general, this day and age is gonna play pretty much anything at 1080p. You're not gonna have a problem with the 5060 unless you have a specific need to go super fast in games. You need a zillion FPS, this is gonna be perfectly fine. At $830 for a new system with a warranty, bring it home, plug it in. This is an awesome system. Let's look at what I think is the best value system. So for $1,000 more, which is a lot, I get it. This is an $1,800 system. You have a Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which is their 3D VNAND super fancy chip design for gaming, which is awesome. Really good CPU. Paired with 32 gigs of RAM, a 2 terabyte NVMe drive, and the GPU in here is an RTX 5070 Ti. So a SKU up from before, and then another bump up to that with the Ti. NVIDIA's naming scheme these days, whatever. 2.5 gig networking, if you care about that, you get that on here. So for $1,800, again, built for you, bring it home, plug it in, warranty, everything. I think this is the best bang for your buck. But let's go look at what I think is the coolest one. So over here on the end, away from everybody, you have this cute little dude, and guys, right, size doesn't matter, okay? It's an Asus Tough Gaming T500. But what made it cool, outside of it, I think just looks really badass. The processor you get in here is an i5-13420H, which is a laptop SKU. So what they've done is they've taken a high power laptop chip and thrown it in a desktop system, and the GPU you get with it is an RTX 5060 Ti. And the fact that they're using a laptop or a high-end laptop chip with, I think, an AIO, that's crazy. Yeah, you can see in here, it is a custom motherboard. So you're not gonna be upgrading this thing, but damn, it's pretty freaking cool. So that's why it's my favorite. But in general, for pre-built, I'd say if you're coming here and saying, I want something great, I want something good. I'm not trying to spend $5,000 though, that $1,800 system. You can't go wrong with that. If you're on a budget, I'd say that 820 or 830 system is really good for the money. There are cheaper systems, but that's when you get into systems without a GPU in them, and then adding the cost of the GPU onto those usually doesn't make it worth it. And those cheaper systems are usually designed for office work and blah, blah, blah. In general, that's what you're looking to spend. If you have the budget and that's well within it, go ahead. But if you're looking to save some money and maybe upgrade piece by piece, let's go look at the parts. So when it comes to upgrading, there's usually three main things you can upgrade: your CPU, your GPU, and your motherboard. Now, each one of these is going to be dependent on your use case and everything. And like I mentioned before, everyone has different use cases. Is it an office PC? Is it a new gaming PC? Is it for a home lab? That's for you to decide. And I'm not going to be able to go through every single upgrade for every single use case, but I'll try to capture as much as I can. Now, first off is going to be your CPU. That's probably going to be the most common upgrade for most people. And I'm not going to go through it, but you have Intel and you have AMD. If you want to know the differences between those or all these parts, essentially, I have a video, I'll link it down below, where I talk about the nuances and everything there. But in general, you're probably going to want to upgrade your CPU for one of a few reasons. One being is that you just want to go faster and you want more cores. And in the home lab, if you're using this as a server, more cores for virtualization is awesome. You can come here, you can find everything from 6 cores at a cheaper price, obviously, up to 16 core beasts. Now, another common thing and a big one these days is Windows 11 support. So if you have an older system and you've tried to upgrade to Windows 11 and you get the message that the hardware isn't supported, you may be upgrading for that reason. But in general, when you come to Micro Center, you'll see these yellow tags. This will indicate that they're on sale. There's deals on them. You'll also see some other yellow tags for open box items that have been returned and they've been checked by Micro Center and they're good to go. Those are always an awesome deal, but I'm seeing one specific deal for the CPUs that is actually pretty freaking crazy. So right here, you have the Ryzen 9 7900X for $300. That is an insane deal. This is probably your best bet. Obviously, if your use case is more highly specific, if you want Intel for their awesome integrated GPU, if you're running a Plex server or something, go Intel. But in general, for a high-end CPU, $300 is about what you'll spend if you just want something modern. You can probably find a pretty decent deal for around $150. Like down here, I noticed the Ryzen, I think this is the 7600, 6-core, $170. That's what I would recommend overall if you're just looking to upgrade to something modern. On the Intel side, all of them have, unless it's, I gotta catch myself, if you see an F in the SKU, in the name, that means it doesn't have integrated graphics. So if you wanted that quick sync for editing, streaming, or media encoding, don't get a processor with the F in it. But in general, yeah, around 150 to 200 for a decent upgrade, and around 300, maybe up to 400 for if you're just a baller. But the other thing about CPUs is when you upgrade that, you'll probably have to upgrade the motherboard too. So I see some that are on the rack over there that are open box. Let's go see them. All right, so in the Houston store, I always notice this by the PC part section. They'll have like a rack, and this is where they put the motherboards that have been returned or are open box, and you'll see a yellow tag here indicating the price, and a lot of times around 50 bucks off, which is pretty freaking good. B650, here's a B550, which is an older, lower end chipset. Up to down here, I saw I don't want to pull it out because I don't want to blow everything up, but it's Asus, the MSI Pro Z890. So a high-end Intel motherboard for $50 off, so around $230. Upgrading your motherboard. If you're getting a new CPU, you'll probably have to upgrade your motherboard, but you can also be upgrading your motherboard for a few reasons as well. If you want things like faster Wi-Fi, you want more or different PCIe lanes, some that support bifurcation, some don't. If you want that feature, if you want faster PCIe lanes, the newer ones will have that. Another one is storage. A lot of older motherboards only come with maybe one NVMe slot, and you don't know how they have that wired up with the PCIe lanes. Newer systems can have up to 4. It's ridiculous. So if that's something you need, come check it out. Usually like $50 off. I'd say again, for the high end, you're gonna look around spending $250. You can find some really good deals on some newer chipsets for around $200. But honestly, I said it in my last video, even the lower end chipsets on both AMD and Intel are really good these days. So you can probably find a good deal in here. I'm actually gonna try to find something for at $100 or less. This one's just a box. Oh, 99 bucks, dude. We have a 650 gigabyte B650, $100 off. You don't get the original box unless you really like the box and the artwork. I don't know anybody who's collecting motherboard boxes. Hey man, pretty good deal. Now for the most fun one, the GPU. Now, from what I've been told, they don't normally put all the GPUs that are open box on display, but you can ask to see which ones they have or if they have any of the ones you're looking for in stock or open box. I actually found a couple, so let's go take a look at what they... Yeah, I had to move out of the way. I felt like I was bothering people. But yeah, they have two right here, the RTX 5070 and the 5070 Ti, both with that lovely yellow open box tag. So here, retail, $650, on sale, $584. 10%, roughly 10% off. So again, you can find really good deals, and obviously the GPU, you would upgrade that if you're looking to get a better gaming experience. This is going to be your main upgrade. A lot of the times, if your system isn't like a zillion years old, you can get by with just upgrading the GPU and get a massive performance in gaming. But another reason to upgrade the GPU is if you're getting into AI, I know, cringe, or if you want to host a really serious Plex server where you're using a dedicated GPU for the transcoding, that's another reason to upgrade. Actually, and look at the price on the Ti. We're looking at retail $940, on sale for $850. So yeah, $700 to $800. This is going to be honestly the biggest upgrade in terms of price for the most part. If you're looking to upgrade an entire system with a GPU. Other upgrades that are good, but maybe less common, would be the RAM and the storage. So let's find some. All right, when it comes to RAM, I usually have a hot take when talking about upgrading your RAM. And some people don't like it, but I think a lot of people would agree. The speed of your RAM really doesn't matter for a lot of applications. It's more about the amount. So if you're coming from an old system, you've upgraded your motherboard, you've upgraded your processor, and a lot of times you'll need to upgrade the RAM. You may be coming from a DDR3 system all the way to a DDR5, and obviously for compatibility reasons, you'll have to upgrade to DDR5. Now, when you look at everything, there's gonna be different speeds, you're gonna see different cache latencies, all that good stuff. But in general, to me, the capacity is all that really matters. And obviously the amount, you can get 32 gigs of RAM with two 16 gigabyte sticks, or you can get one single 32 gigabyte stick. It's all gonna come down to the channels. You have a dual channel system, a quad channel system. If you have dual, it's best to go in increments of 2 RAM sticks. If it's quad channel, 4 RAM sticks. That's getting a bit too much in the weeds. But in terms of deals, again, look at these yellow tags on sale. RAM has gotten, I feel like it's been like a roller coaster over the last couple of years. I feel like right now it's in a pretty good point in terms of price. 64 gigs, $100 off, Corsair Vengeance, DDR4. So a lot of systems are still on DDR4. So if you're looking at 16, I would recommend 16 is a bare minimum these days in a desktop system. Oh no, this is straight up 32 gigs. So two 16 gig sticks for $100, DDR5. Pretty solid. If you want to up that to 64 gigs, there's a Crucial Pro kit here. Two 32 gigabyte sticks for $165. Like I said, I feel like RAM is pretty cheap respectively these days compared to what it used to be and compared to other parts. So I don't know, what do you think? Are you gonna flame me for saying that? If so, just do it anyway. I'd love comments, or they help the video. They help reach more people. So go ahead and get mad in the comments. But yeah, let's go check out storage, because that is that's a whole nother animal. All right, when it comes to storage upgrades, it used to be the most common thing you would tell people is just get an SSD as your boot drive. And honestly, that was the best advice you could have given somebody a couple of years ago, when it was more common to be upgrading from systems that were still using spinning drives for their boot drive. I don't see that like ever these days. So that advice doesn't really hold too much. You can still see, obviously, people are running SATA SSDs as their boot drives, and you can come in here and say, oh yeah, just upgrade to an NVMe drive. It's gonna be so much better. And in theory, the numbers are way higher. You're looking at like 500 megabytes per second on a SATA SSD versus up to 7,000 on a NVMe drive. So yes, the numbers are bigger. Are you gonna notice it in day-to-day use on your just generic Windows operating system? Probably not, but honestly, the price between SATA and NVMe in terms of capacity is about the same. So I think, honestly, it's worth it to just go NVMe. You can get into NVMe, it uses PCIe lanes, and you're very limited on consumer chips on how many PCIe lanes you have, and you can fit a lot more SATA drives, but in general, go with an NVMe drive as your boot disk. And if you're coming down here, you'll see more SATA drives, you'll see SATA SSDs, and at the far end, you'll have your hard drives for obviously your main storage. If you want to have a NAS, if you have a crap ton of games or something that you need, 12 up to 22, 24 terabyte drives, sure. But this is going to be for like home labbers, for people who need mass storage. But in general, I would say if you're rocking or just any SSD as your boot drive, it's going to be fine. If you really want to upgrade, go NVMe. I'd say 1 terabyte is usually good for your operating system, and it lets you not have to worry about running out of space if you're installing programs and downloading anime. But you can find some really good deals here. Obviously, again, yellow tag, Inland brand, which is the Micro Center affiliated brand. 1 terabyte, 7,100 megabytes per second. I believe this is a Gen 4 drive, maybe Gen 5. Gen 4 by 4 NVMe, $70. If you want to step up to Gen 5 drives, make sure you have a Gen 5 motherboard or you won't get those promised speeds. You have the Samsung, what's the king of the jungle these days? The 9100 Pro, and I don't see a tag. But you can't go wrong with the 990 Pro, even though it is Gen 4. But if you do need Gen 5, the 9100 Pro. But again, an upgrade will cost you around $100-ish. So, it is adding up, but I didn't say you have to upgrade your entire system, every single part. If you want to pick and choose which ones, go for it. Now, the last two are going to be a bit more rare. If you want to upgrade your power supply in your case, you can do that. And power supply in general, I usually like to go with 80 plus gold. There's different tiers. The higher the tier, the better, the more efficient. And obviously choose a power supply based on how much you need. So let's go see what the prices are on those. So on the way to the power supply aisle, I saw this power supply deal. How convenient. A MSI 850 watt, 80 plus gold, $130. I mean, that's about what I would expect. And a pretty good deal. Now, if you want to come to the actual power supply aisle, you can look for other options. Now, MSI, I'm not LTT Labs or Steve from Gamers Nexus, so I'm not gonna tell you what the best exact brand and model of power supply is. But in general, go for what you need. Superflower 850, 80 plus gold, again, similar, $130. Roughly, that's the ballpark of, I'd say, what you're gonna need. 850 is good if you want a modern CPU, a high quality CPU with a, upper class GPU. 850 watts is gonna be good. You can get up to over 1,000 watts. You can get down to like 550 watts if you don't have a really big system. But around $100 to $200 will be your upgrade for power supply. If you have a system that already has a decent power supply, you probably won't need this. But at the end of everything, you want your PC to look good. So let's see what cases we have on sale. And I mean, damn, everything over here is a yellow tag, but it doesn't say on sale. It all comes down to preference. Do you want a tiny little compact system? Do you want a big boy with all the RGB to impress your friends? It's up to you. Do you want a hot pink PC? They even have that. I feel like most PCs that I've built in these days, in a lot of different cases, have all been pretty good unless you're buying like the $20 Amazon special. I'd say anything you get here at Micro Center is gonna be pretty good. It can range from 70 bucks up to $300, and that's just gonna get you, really fancy build quality, maybe some modularity in terms of water cooling and some fancy tempered glass. But again, preference, it's up to you. If your system fits in it and you like what it looks like, go for it. All right, so what did we learn today? Well, if you're upgrading piece by piece, you can do it for a pretty reasonable cost. Like we said, there's motherboards out there and processors that you can get. Even they have combo deals. You can probably get a decent setup for at $250, $300 for both the motherboard and CPU if you're looking to go that route. If you have a decent GPU, you can keep it. If you have a decent power supply and case, all that good stuff, you can keep it and get a pretty decent upgrade for around $300. If you're looking to upgrade the GPU and get some NVMe and more fancy RAM, you're looking at a significant more, over $1,000. And in that case, oftentimes it makes more sense to go the pre-built route. So, I mean, from what we saw, the parts that are in these pre-builts is often cheaper than the sum of them individually. So honestly, it's not bad to buy a pre-built. I know there's this stigma in the home labbing community and the gaming community that if you didn't build your PC, then you're not a true gamer, you're not a true nerd. You can build it or go with a pre-built. I showed you a couple cool options. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Come to Micro Center and check out their deals, because if you do, they might sponsor me some more and I get to come here and do some more cool videos. But that's it. Thanks for watching. What is my outro? If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more Micro Center stuff. And I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube members and my Patreons. You guys are my pre-built system that's super cool with all the RGB and is like $1,000, less than $1,000. Yeah, and if you're still watching, you're an ultra-wide monitor. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Wow, that was great.